Donetsk region who were refugees. They moved to Kiev, rebuilt community, trying the best, and now again they have to run. So when the war started, he was in Kiev, in the center of Podol, and I remember that night. I couldn't believe it happened. I was trying to reach my brother, and I couldn't until I reached him. Like, yeah, I can confirm the Russia attack. He said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go to a safer place. It's like Anativka. It's like a few kilometers from Kiev. It's like a smaller town."
He was in
It's
Ukraine.
right near
He
Bucha.
was in Kiev, in
This
Podol.
is right near Bucha. He was. It's
And
right near
yeah,
the
it's like
market.
2 kilometers from Bucha. So, but I didn't know back then. My brother said it's a smaller village. Don't worry, it's gonna be quiet. And he deliberately didn't want to call me because every 5 seconds there was like a shooting or something. So he was scared. Yeah, and he was texting me, "We're fine, it's quiet." Meanwhile, they couldn't sleep. They were like nothing. It was just like literally like Bucha. They were torturing them. But I learned that later.
He didn't tell you.
He didn't tell me. He didn't call me. He's like, "Oh, there's a bad reception, but everything is fine. Everything is quiet." Blah, blah. Meanwhile, it was like literally like next block is Bucha was being tortured for a month. And then he was able to. So one rabbi, they asked, "Can we?" Some people were able gather together because they had unfortunately bad story in Donetsk. So they gathered together and said, "Women, children, buses, let's go, try to get out of the country." Obviously, men were not allowed to. So my brother and a few people asked Rabbi, "Can we lend you a car to go a little bit on east, like Dnieper, because it's more quiet." So they were lucky enough. It took a few people, older people who couldn't go or would refuse. It's very hard. So they drove back to Dnieper, which is a little bit better, but still not so. And then I called him and asked, "What's your plan?" He's like, "I don't know. What should I do?"
Yeah, why wasn't it coming out? Why
I mean,
did
there
he
was a
leave Ukraine?
law passed you from 18 to 65. You're not allowed to leave. And he's like, "What should I do?" And then we remember, as a child, he was 16. He was able to have like exam from the army. And some people were able to cross the border with a paper. Some people were not. He had it like years when he was 16. So I guess they checked. Obviously, my mother like back then didn't want him to serve, and whatever the story. So also to get into a train, it was very, very hard. Like Ukraine would send the train, but you could imagine how many people are trying to, like, let's say 8 cars and million people were trying to get in. Yeah, and luckily someone from Dnieper, my friend father, he literally took my brother. He just quit, like already train was leaving. He just so basically to describe, like train was meant for 6 people at places. So there was squeezed for 20, 21 for like. Between this, almost, in the back, whatever.
They know what that is.
That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Like
That the story sounds like their story.
Exactly. It looks like they were like at some station they would stop because there was a bombing, so they traveled for 3 days like that. Well, I don't know how. I didn't even ask how they used the bathroom or eating, nothing. Some people were trying to help with food. My brother eats only kosher, so he was like starving. Then it was already Shabbat. They approached, and he was in charge of Jewish people of Dnieper. There was a lot of older, kids, so help them. Some people, they so disoriented, they lost. You have to find whatever. He was helping them, even though he didn't know Lvov. And Lvov is it's not meant to accommodate this amount of people. But also, so somehow they found the right bus, and they. I think it was 17. I forgot, like a long time trying to go through, and the 2 Jewish men clearly didn't have a right paper, but you could see like one is literally like they're not able to serve an army. They refused. They turned them go back. A few older, so it was like very, very strict. So my brother, I prayed. I asked everyone to pray. He was able to cross the border in Poland. At that time was nothing for Jewish people. The Polish people would serve some food, but my brother couldn't. He called a friend through Ukraine who went through whatever. Some were Polish people hosting me for like take a shower after 4 days of showering. He said he put a baseball hat. He was afraid to identify as a Jew, and he's like, "Thank you very much. I'm not hungry," even though he was dying of hunger. But he said very nice, but he didn't feel it would be a right, thing to even identify as a Jew until I was able to buy him. But it was like a miracle with
I have to,
So where is he
I don't want to
now
stop
he's
you,
like
but I
by me.
a little bit continue your story. Because they took us 6 days in lockdown wagons. 6 days, no food, nothing. And Bobby, Big Bobby, she had their little water because those cattle wagons have a little openings by the window. So she kept on there the little glass they call by the window. So luckily it was raining a little bit, but people were starved and thirsty. So she raised her hand, my mother, Big Bobby, and she said, I have water. There was a little bit water, but we had there 90 people in one wagon. 90.
This is my aunt. This is Bobby's sister. They all know Bobby. Also from the same town in Boma Zuvarish with Lillian Feintach.
Yes.
And so, Baruch Hashem,
Same
Simone.
reaction that you described. But you know, my mother, in the first
Oh, I
ghetto,
know you from home.
Yeah.
Lillian.
yeah,
I like
you
that.
know,
Yes. We grew
my
up
mother,
together.
yeah, hi.
Oh.
But 6 days, nothing, nobody had no food. But Big Bobby had a little.
I was in the same wagon and we had no food and there was no place just even to sit in a wagon and we were, the condition in the wagons were just
The wagon, when they stopped middle of the way,
because they, no, but they were bombed, the trucks were bombed. That's where she was in the same wagon.
And they're laughing.
They have never
Yeah, they're in line.
But you did share you felt the beauty of the show. I hope that the recorder we really didn't know This is the former and the
You guys are so cute. Wow.
My father was friends with my father.
She's a little bit younger.
Wait, let me get it. Yeah, that's probably mom.
The same thing, we were together in the concentration.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk much, even the highlights of the concentration camp. You cannot stay in a group like this because only
If you want to go for a picture, we're taking a picture. You want to get your bag and then come.
And how can he talk when
I
it's like,
remember this.
yes.
I got
This is better.
Yes, and that's what I'm
Starting in the get-go.
because it's online by us. So it's online.
Everyone can gather. We're taking a group photo. You can leave some of the ladies. Would you yeah, leave
No, but Jackie, you think you are a leader. You gave your so far to know you.
But it was actually very good. Like, I didn't know that it was much nicer than Kennedy in terms of the light sharing.
Ladies, you come. No, we need you. We can do from the other side. We're gonna come from the other side. We want you to come.
They shoot me right away.
Why? And you all. No, but first of all, John, I'll take with you.
Guys, don't move your smile.
We're coming. No, I don't want to keep you waiting. Take the picture without us. Mommy, she wants. What Faggy wants, we do.
Yeah, right, we got right here.
Okay, let's try again. Are we good?
Everybody looking at that, everybody play and take a quick picture of the 360.
It's gonna look like a regular picture once we have it, like it'll be a course.
So
I can put it on my
360.
profile.
This one's not, this one's gonna be on your phone.
Yes, you're right.
Alright.
Will it fit into like a square for Instagram?
You know what, just take it, because I think some ladies. Everybody come in the circle.
And yours. Okay, very good. Good
This is
point.
gonna be like a.
Everyone look in the center.
Wrong side in the center.
And smile.
Cheese. Good? How long is it?
Good.
Floating. Very high quality picture. Alright, good. Wait, no, wait, one more with the center around. One time around with everybody. I'm gonna send it without the page, I'll send it to you. Alright.
It's gonna be hanging
Where we
on the
starting?
wall.
I want to be in the middle, okay, in the middle.
Yeah, we'll send it.
You guys ready? Yeah. Starting with this side, smile. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, one more time. Oh, wait, that's it, you guys cut off. This is not big enough. One more time, sorry. One more time, just gotta try to get closer. You guys gotta get a little closer.
Okay, we're good. One
You
more.
guys gotta come a little closer.
Come a little closer. Okay, we're squeezing.
Three, two, one. Look over here, please smile. Forward.
Trying the long way and that's it.
No, we gotta squeeze in more. One more, one last one.
Maybe we go like sides.
Yeah, right. So we need to move this.
Okay.
Thank you. All the best. Wow, look at you. Look at you. Look at what you did. Wow. What a picture.
Yeah, but it's blurry, so I went too fast.
Oh, sorry.
Amazing, right? Crazy. I was just so starving, right? I feel like still some food. What you gonna eat? I didn't eat a thing. My plate is over there. I was taking a bite of something before I pass out. I don't know if I would have survived the non-kosher food, the non-kosher food test.
Maggie,
I wrote down, rescheduled my thing, so it's fine.
Protein.
I'll go with you.
now I'm gonna ask them to plate one plate for Shirley.
Yeah, take, you have some foil in your kitchen?
But this is a real plate, right?
Yes.
Can you please put a foil and take home to my husband?
Did your mother ever say what
for staying observant.
No, not mine. Yeah. I want to ask you a question. Is your office help with, let's say someone has a Section 8 voucher, but having a hard time finding like that actual housing because it's hard to like. Send it to you. Thank you. What about your practice? Are you still have your practice?
You have fire, and then he started.
You sold it?
To my colleague.
To manage.
But I realized that nobody in his family survived.
Meaning you don't have ties to it other than the name? Yeah.
I'm allowed to make a certain amount of money from it.
The next morning, I woke up, wasn't gonna eat before davening. Before davening.
I'm actually allowed to work.
That's a rule of that's a law. You're not.
The law is you're actually not allowed to have a side business. But
Either was there, there's
get exempted.
Okay.
people they were with.
Wow. That's what Trump did also essentially. Which
Even though they
happened.
lost everything they went through, even though she's around an orphanage, but she knew her parents were great. So,
Which one?
thank you so much.
Schneider. Anna Goldenberg, sure. She used to work for DOE. She went on maternity leave and she didn't take the vaccine. She's one of the whatever vaccine mandate. Basically, she got an email in February from the city saying terminated. Yeah. But she started her own practice. Her own OT practice. Yeah, as of like 2 weeks ago. As of 2 weeks ago. Her husband's a lawyer, but he's real estate.
Anna?
Yeah, Anna Lee, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know my husband was a lawyer.
Yeah. Why'd you ask? We're very close to them. Very close. Yeah, super nice.
Yeah, that was like this. How was your baby? We had
They just had their baby, yeah.
No, I
No,
know.
not. Oh, Gabe had kidney stone. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was scared.
Okay.
Yeah, he got.
Oh, so they're right
Yeah,
there.
very-
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, they kind of live on my
My
block.
husband had them.
That's me, and I live across.
I literally. Yeah.
Sometimes I go to Brooklyn, but I
I saw
have
the
a
like,
few people that I go
we went to the free show, Romeo, and we agreed to meet there. We're supposed to spend work together. I looked at Gabe, and he's like,
Is your son? Is your son that lives there? I think somebody mentioned that there's like I didn't go to it, but somebody said there's like a little steeple that's like I think. Yeah. So okay, I've never been because it's like I know I've heard but people talk about it.
It's like, for people who wouldn't.
Oh really? Because the way I wasn't sure if like women go or whatever,
Let me take your number.
Sure.
I'll put my daughter in touch with you.
Why do they live there? Just wondering, like what
They like the cosmopolitan sophistication. It's like,
Oh,
very cool.
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What's